Hello, are you gonna stay in my lap while I film? Alrighty.
Sir, that's my pillow. Okay. What does gender dysphoria feel like? Well, there are different types and everyone experiences it differently, so I'm going to have to speak from my own experiences. Keep in mind, I'm not some kind of gender expert, I just have life. So I'm going to talk about my experiences with gender dysphoria and the different kinds and such, just to try to give you an idea of what it could feel like. Because I'm sure there are plenty of cis people who kind of want to understand, or you might be questioning your gender and you just want to know how other people experience gender dysphoria to see if maybe you're also sharing some of those experiences. Generally, people understand there being 3 different types of gender dysphoria. There is physical, emotional, and social. Physical just has to do with the body, how you feel about your body. Social is how you feel about people perceiving you. And emotional dysphoria is probably the trickiest to understand. The way I normally explain emotional gender dysphoria, kind of like you feel uncomfortable or distressed about certain emotions you're feeling because of certain connotations to do with gender. For me personally, this looks like when I have my period. About a week prior, I always feel a lot worse, like without even realizing why. I start to feel really bad about myself in like every conceivable way. And then the moment I realize I'm about to have Satan's waterfall come visit, I feel dysphoric about the fact that I experience pretty intense emotions surrounding my menstrual cycle. I frequently tell people that if you're a man, you have a man's body. If you're a woman, you have a woman's body. And if you're non-binary, you have a non-binary body. However, society doesn't normally think so. And then when you've grown up with certain teachings, like, periods are a woman's thing, kind of just feeds that voice in the back of my head that just really wants me dead. I mean, that's not the only thing that it tells me. It tends to have a lot more to say than just die. Funny enough, social gender dysphoria has got to be the one I understand the least. It might be the autism, perhaps. I don't get social things, which is probably why I don't get gender in general, because it's a social construct. Anywho, I tend to feel socially gender dysphoric when I'm in a social situation where people know that I'm trans and yet they still misgender me. Like, it's one thing if people don't know, because I understand that I don't pass. Like, it's not my dysphoria speaking to say I don't pass, I'm just stating a fact. It kind of just hurts deep in my soul when people automatically assume she, because I'd like to think that I'm masculine, but guess not, at least not in the eyes of society. I mean, I think I'm masculine, so I think that's what matters. But it's an even different kind of hurt when someone who is aware what my pronouns are either slips up or refuses to use them, which means that they see me as a girl even when I told them that I'm not one. It's probably my social dysphoria that kind of influences how I dress, because I like the feminine kind of things and dresses and skirts and such, but I wouldn't wear it out because I think that would trigger the fact that I don't like it when people perceive me as feminine or as a girl. Nothing wrong with being a woman. I'm just not one. So it kind of doesn't feel right when that's all people see me as. I think being neurodivergent affects the way I experience social dysphoria, because there are certain aspects about myself or about presentation that I prefer, but then the moment I realize that society kind of deems that as not the way I want to be perceived, then I start to not feel so great about it. Even though I like my hair, sometimes I feel like it's not masculine enough, which is so silly. Like, it's hair. Or sometimes I'll shave under my arms like I used to as a teenager just because it feels more normal to me. It's like a texture thing. It's also just kind of satisfying to shave sometimes. I don't know why. But because society tells me that it's a girly thing to do, even though it's not, sometimes I just feel awkward about that. See, this is what I mean when I say social gender dysphoria is confusing. I really don't understand it. It's the physical gender dysphoria that I understand the most because it's a physical thing. So it's kind of hard to deny. I personally feel it very intensely within my body. It's not just like a feeling in my brain, like it's a full body emotion? Feeling? Yes, I'm a writer. I do know words. Maybe not enough words. That's not a great sign. I get very nauseous when I start thinking about parts of me that I really don't like. Now, there can be some overlap between the three types of gender dysphoria, but I think that there is a bit of a difference between social dysphoria and physical, like body dysphoria, or at least for me. I can really only speak for myself here. But like social is when I feel distressed about how other people perceive me, versus physical dysphoria is like I feel distressed about the physical thing regardless of what other people think about it. And for all of my teenage years, it was my chest. Like still now, despite having had top surgery like 8 months ago. No, that's not math. 10 months, maybe. Sometimes I still remember how I felt at that time, and I start to be a little bit off because it was such a terrible, terrible feeling. And sometimes I kind of wonder how, like, I got through all of that because that. Man, there was like a lot of pain within those moments. It's also kind of funny because actually saying out loud the things that I'm insecure about makes me more insecure about them. But I feel really insecure about my hips and my voice. And this isn't really an insecurity, but it definitely makes me feel really bad about myself is when I'm on my period. Or just like the fact that I have a uterus. I am aro ace with no desire for children, so what purpose could I possibly have for a uterus? And I think a lot of that dysphoria just stems from the fact that I grew up with people constantly telling me that it's a huge part of womanhood to have that cycle. But I don't really think that it's a good thing to associate menses with womanhood because that's kind of like reducing womanhood to the ability to reproduce. I'm probably reading too much into that. As a writer, I spend a lot of time describing what gender dysphoria feels like with metaphor, and like it's kind of like a squirming sensation within all my stomach and intestines, and a fluttery feeling in my chest that's pulling my rib cage towards my heart. It often feels like every cell in my body is sobbing. I'm sure those negative feelings can also be attributed to other issues as well, but yeah, I know plenty of people whose gender dysphoria kind of manifests as anger, but for me, it's always been a dull sadness, kind of like a hopelessness. I'm comfortable with describing my experience as I have a guy's brain, but I was born into a body that other people wanted to raise as a girl. Isn't that such a strange concept that people tend to raise their children in a certain way based off of what genitals they have? And then trans people are called weird for thinking that that's weird. Okay. Anyway, I did not fit into the mold that they were trying to shove me into because I am a guy, but because of what I looked like, I was forced into trying to become a girl. I didn't hate my childhood. There was a lot that I appreciated, and there was a lot of feminine things that I really enjoyed. I was an artistic swimmer, for goodness sakes. Like, that's the most feminine sport I think you could do. And I liked fashion, and I liked old Barbie movies, and I liked wearing dresses and such. But I also liked the stereotypical boy things as well. Although when you think about it, interests really shouldn't be divided by the categories of gender, because like, why? Kids are kids. Why are we separating their interests? It's like I didn't belong anywhere, and I still don't, because as an adult, I didn't really have a girl or boy childhood because I'm not a girl but I didn't get the stereotypical boy childhood. It kind of feels like I'll never live up to what I think a man could be. There's a lot of not feeling enough, but that's not exclusive to gender. I just feel like I don't fit in to any box, regardless if I want to check a box or not. So that feels quite isolating, and I feel very alone a lot of the time. Everybody has unique experiences, but it can make you feel very different and very alien when your experiences are not compatible with the experiences of your peers. There's this idea that girls grow into women and boys grow into men, but if you are neither of those things, what do you grow up into? So I'm stuck at an in-between of not being able to grow. I am assumed to be a lot younger than I am, and I am assumed to be very immature. I'm made fun of for my immaturity, which is a huge insecurity of mine. I'm told that if I pass as a 14-year-old boy, I should be grateful because at least I passed as a boy, but I'm 22. I don't want to look like a 14-year-old boy. I want to look like a 22-year-old man. So I have a bit of a fear that people will think that I haven't grown up, even though I've already done that several times over. I think my gender dysphoria surrounding how old I'm perceived as is a social thing. I think my face is fine, but if you say I look 14, I don't really feel so great about it anymore. As I get older, gender dysphoria has kind of extended into not feeling like a person at all. My loved ones make me feel like a person and like I matter as who I am rather than what I am. But to a lot of people, I am just a trans person before I am a person. The constant explanations of why people can't use my pronouns or such, or when the only thing that people reach out to me for is to tell me about this new trans character that they saw on TV, or when people weaponize my gender against me. They use my identity as a bad thing. They don't really see everything I am, they just see the fact that they don't understand one part of me. You don't need to understand something to respect it, first of all. Like, I don't understand parabolas, but I know they exist. You could hand me a math equation and I will not know how to read it. I won't know what it means, but I'm not going to deny that it's correct. Just because I don't understand the math doesn't mean it's wrong. Our genders are never the most important thing about us. That goes for everybody. Cis, trans, intersex, people who don't fit in the binary. We are people first, humans first. And if you want to slap a gender label on that, then by all means go ahead, but it's not the most important thing about you. Gender does not define you. If it brings you joy to explore your gender and celebrate your gender, then by all means do that, though. I would say gender euphoria is probably better than gender dysphoria. I mean, who would have thought? I think I'm funny. It's 4 a.m. Yeah, I should wrap this up. I hope that this has given some insight into what gender dysphoria can feel like. Like I mentioned, it's different for everyone, though. If you also experience gender dysphoria, I hope that you take some time to take care of yourself on the days that you need it the most. It's not a fun feeling, but we will survive. Okay, goodbye.